Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, December the 6th, 2019. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing two main topics: how to handle international returns, and also how to review and understand your returns as found in Seller Hub. This is very important. This is something we talked a lot about last week. And later in the video, I'm going to do an actual cutaway and show you how to do that. But as usual, look, it's cold and cloudy. Another whole week of no sun. We do not get any sunny days in the Northeast. In fact, we had snow and rain almost every day. That being said, we're going to start now with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. Mary Weimer wrote about eBay promoting our competition in our listings. She wrote, "Joe, I've noticed the number of competitive seller listings is really beginning to bug the Hades out of me, especially in the mobile app. To see a minimum of 2 rows of ads before getting to where the description is confusing to the buyer. This could be one of the major reasons buyers either cancel or do not take the time to read the information necessary to give the customer the details to make an intelligent purchase, especially where the details like sizes and specifications are important. This is at the root of many returns. I truly wish eBay would look at some of their problems from the seller and buyer perspective versus their pocketbook. Your opinion?" Well, Mary, naturally I totally agree with you. I don't feel eBay should put any competition on our listings whatsoever. I've been saying this for years. Our listings are our listings. We are paying for the privilege of listing on eBay, and our listings and the quality of our listings are tantamount to making a sale. I urge eBay, I have urged them, and I continue to urge them not to promote our competition on our listings. The only advice I will give you, Mary, is you mentioned that it's worse with the mobile app, and I don't disagree with you. But I would suggest, when possible, to purchase with your Mac, or if you're using a desktop, try it with that, because I do all my purchases with my Mac. I find it's much easier and more convenient. Clutch Carson wrote about a fishy buyer. It's rather long, but I want to read the whole thing. "I had the issue where the buyer returned an item saying doesn't work or defective as the return reason, but in our messages he had said differently. Basically just wanted to return it. When I got the item back, it was 4 sticks of memory. I tested them and sent back a message telling the buyer they all tested good. I charge shipping but give free returns. Anyway, I refunded the buyer, but since he incorrectly returned under the reason doesn't work, I had to manually toggle off the original shipping amount and gave a full refund less the original shipping. After I clicked send refund, I got the message waiting for buyer to confirm refund. Here is where, if the buyer had been mad and felt cheated out of shipping, he could have contested my partial refund. I don't know if it would automatically give my account a strike like Daniel said, but if it did, that would have happened. It would have been so wrong because the buyer admitted in messages that the product was functional. In my case, the return lingered for a couple of weeks and then one day closed. I assume the buyer was too lazy to agree or disagree with the return amount." Clutch Carson, as you know, I've had that happen many times with buyers admitting they purchased the wrong size or something, and then, in fact, lying so they could get the free return shipping. I'll get to that a little further when we talk about the cutaway that I'm going to do. I think everything will then fall into play. But I do agree with you that on its face, this particular system does not seem to be working. John Miller wrote regarding Daniel Scales' incident with his returns. "Joe, forget wearing a hat. You should have worn a mask in this episode. You were so incorrect regarding Daniel's refund situation. I've had the same situation occur, and it happens with eBay Managed Payments program, and yes, you receive an email from eBay stating the case is not closed until the buyer has had a chance to respond. I had a similar case where I had to deduct for the customer returning an item without all of its parts. This has happened to me once and caught me off guard. It seems that refunds are handled differently through eBay than they are through PayPal. We all make mistakes, and keep up the good work and passing on information that as sellers we need to know. Well, John Miller, technically I didn't make any mistake. I was recounting my experiences with my eBay returns flow, which I'm going to be showing you shortly, is as I said. Now, I've been going back and forth with Daniel Scales. We've been talking through email. He's been sending me screenshots, and we've actually figured out what's going on. Those of you poor folks like Daniel Scales who are already opted into managed payments are the ones that are seeing these messages where you have to wait for the customer to approve the return, or we have to wait for the customer to agree he got his refund. Those of us who wisely, in my opinion, did not opt into managed payments don't have that worry. And I'm going to show you screenshots to prove that to you. 5797029, Mike wrote about Office to Watches. Office to Watches is driving a lot of sales. There appears to be an issue with the buyers either not seeing anything to accept the offer, or when they click to buy, it changes the offer to the full price. This is what a couple have messaged me with. Early last Sunday morning, I sent out a few offers. In less than 1 minute, one of the items sold at full price. It would be unlikely to trigger a random buyer to purchase that item immediately after I sent them the offer out. Almost half the items I send offers on sell within 24 hours at regular price. What do you think is actually happening here? Coincidence? Algorithm? Bait and switch the price? I already had a couple suggest the latter. Mike, I've said this many times. I've been sending out a lot of Office to Watches and eBay Motors, and the people watching the items almost never buy because, in my opinion, they're not serious. They're not serious buyers. However, like you said, shortly thereafter, maybe even 24 hours later, the items that I sent the offers to, some of those will sell at full price to a ham and egger who swoops in and pays the full price. I believe when you send Office to Watches, it increases the activity, meaning it knocks them up their exposure. It knocks the exposure, it increases the exposure up, and that helps us. So I am going to continue sending Office to Watches because, hey, a sale's a sale. Black Lotus Boutique wrote a comment about item not received cases. I truncated it for brevity, but even with me truncating it, it's still super long. Also, I have mentioned to eBay why they allow a buyer to open a case on an item not received item when tracking is uploaded and shows the item was delivered. Joe, can you please enlighten me on this? I've had to take the time out of my day, and other sellers too, to call eBay to have cases closed. This is ridiculous, as if tracking shows uploaded and delivered, that a buyer should be able to open an item not received case. I've had a buyer recently that wanted a refund because she supposedly did not get her item. Tracking showed it was delivered. I even had USPS do a GPS on her tracking. They did and said it was delivered to her mailbox. She still insisted she did not receive the item. Then had the nerve to tell me I should include insurance on all my packages, which I explained to her insurance is included with priority and not first class, and that if she wanted insurance, it was an option for her to pay extra. Granted, I had free shipping on her order, and this was a first-class package. I explained to her it is not my responsibility. It was her responsibility to provide a safe place for packages to get delivered. That is why when you purchase online, whether it's eBay, Amazon, Macy's, or any other e-commerce site, that tracking is provided. Of course, eBay closed the case in my favor, but I still had tracking that proved delivery of her item. But still, the fact remains that buyers are allowed to do this, and it's a total waste of time for sellers, and eBay can be handling something else. Now, if a seller did not upload tracking, then I can see this. Overall, eBay should have a program set up for this that detects tracking and delivery automatically to prevent buyers from opening item not received cases. Yes, Black Lotus Boutique, this is something I've talked about myself many times. I myself have had many item not received cases opened against me when the tracking was clearly uploaded, and I had to stop what I was doing, call eBay, and get them to close the case. Do you remember a few weeks ago I told you that very story? Now let's stop right here. Let's stop. Now, okay, here we go. Here we go. So, you may remember a few weeks ago, I had a buyer open an item not received case. I told you guys about this twice. And it showed that the buyer did not have a valid address and the post office wasn't able to deliver it. I called eBay customer service and they gave me incorrect information. Remember? The customer service rep said to me, "Give the buyer the money back right now and I'll close the case for you." And I said to him, "No, that's not the way it works. I have to wait to get the item back by eBay rules." And this guy was clueless. So I overruled him. I said, "Don't do anything, I'll handle this myself." And I was smart that I did, because as you remember, I told you that 2 days later the post office was able to send the item to the buyer. He got his item, he's happy. I kept my money. If I would have listened to the eBay customer service rep, I would have been stung $100, and that's not right. I spoke about this on a video a few weeks ago, and I also spoke about it in a Facebook post. What I forgot to tell you guys, and this is my error, was over a week ago, I got a call from eBay customer service. They called me up, and the nice lady on the phone was very apologetic, and she said to me, "Joe, I understand that you had a bad experience with eBay Concierge where they gave you some wrong information. We learned about this." Now, I'm not sure if they saw my video or my Facebook post. That's really immaterial. But they were aware of my situation, and the lady said to me that they were going to talk to the representative in question and re-school him on eBay policies. So I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. I meant to bring it up last week and I forgot about it, but I just remembered right now. So that worked out. I'm glad eBay is watching my videos and my posts. That's great news. Glad to have them. We need all the help we can get as sellers. Skinny Cow wrote, "This week's update on my keystroke minimalist buyer. I noticed they left me positive feedback, so it's unlikely they will try a return, and there's only 10 days left for them to do a return anyway. We'll keep you posted." Skinny Cow is talking about a guy who tried to cancel an item after he had purchased it. I'm not sure how long it was. I think it was a relatively short amount of time. But yeah. The last comment I'm going to read is from Duncan VR. "Time for a reappearance of that Don't Be Fitchy hamster at the ending." I do believe in a future video you will see our Fitchy hamster reappear. Now we have a lot to cover now, a lot of new topics, so let's get right into it. Now we're going to do a cutaway, a short tutorial, how you can check your closed eBay returns, specifically the status. This has to do with the fact that Daniel Scales and I both have different statuses, because Daniel has already opted into managed payments, where I haven't. So let me firstly do a cutaway and show you how to access this information, okay? Now I'm going to show you how to check out your returns history on eBay. Starting right here in your Seller Hub, just hover over Orders and this drop-down menu will appear. Just click here on Returns and this screen will come up right here. Right now it's set to the last 90 days, which is good enough for this little tutorial. Right here from this drop-down menu, click on that, and on the bottom, click on Closed Returns and Replacements. Now, here are mine for the last 90 days. As you can see, every one of mine in the status field shows return closed. It does not show return waiting for buyer to accept or anything like that. It says purely return closed, which is the way it should be. Take a look at the reasons while we're here, and you'll see almost every one is buyer remorse. Doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit, change mind, doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit. One after the other. Doesn't fit. Now here's one that says doesn't match description or photos. You may remember I talked to you guys a few weeks ago about this particular cat. He had the Chrysler Sebring center cap, and it was his mistake. He wanted one with the painted finish instead of the chrome finish, and he made a mistake, but then he pulled a fast one. He pulled a fitchy move in order to get the free shipping back. And yes, I did report him to eBay. And then doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit. Here's another fitchy one because he bought the wrong size. Doesn't fit, and found a better price. So those are my returns for the last 90 days. Okay, you'll see that everything in the status column is just as it should be, and that is because I am not yet in managed payments. Let's get back to the video. So yeah, in my case, everything is cut and dry, just as it should be. I have no complaints whatsoever. Now in Daniel's case, he sent me some screenshots the other day, and it does indeed show that instead of the return being closed, it says something to the effect, waiting for buyer to confirm return. So now what that means, in my opinion, is if the buyer is not happy with the amount that Daniel or anybody else gave them, they can make a complaint. They can open a case, and Daniel or any other seller in managed payments could receive an unfair defect. So what I want you guys to do when you get time, follow the tutorial that I just showed you and check your returns. Check your closed returns and give me your opinion on what you see in the comment section below. Unfortunately, I have another glitch to report, a pretty serious one in my opinion, regarding Markdown Manager. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, people have been complaining that Markdown Manager is not working correctly. When they want to start a sale, the sale will not start, it will get hung up. At that time, I currently had sales running, so I wasn't too concerned. But the other day, I did try and run a sale, and sure enough, I could not do it. Normally, I set my sales to start immediately. But after 24 hours, I went back, and my sale is still not visible. So I don't know if it's going to be visible in a day or two, or if at all. I'll keep you informed on that glitch next week. The next topic I'd like to cover is handling an international return. I'm not sure if I've ever had to cover this before, because it's never happened to me before. But let me explain what happened. I get a decent amount of returns, and normally the returns are automatically accepted by eBay because I accept domestic returns 30 days, no questions asked. So the other day I got a return notification on my phone, and I checked it, and it said that I needed to act on it. It didn't say it was automatically accepted, it said I needed to act on it. And it gave me the choices, you know, accept return, decline return, offer a partial refund. And at first I was stymied why I was getting such an email. I've never had that happen. But then I checked further and I realized the person was international, specifically in Canada. What happened is they bought some alloy wheel center caps, and they did not read the compatibility chart. In fact, if you go back to the tutorial I showed you earlier, it'll be the most recent one on top, those 4 Chevy caps. The guy did not read the listing. Number one, he didn't read the compatibility. I go through a heck of a lot of trouble to list the compatibility features, and quite frankly, I get upset when people don't read it. It takes a lot of time to do that. Number two, it also said no international returns. So he screwed up on 2 things, okay? So what happens? I said to myself, I'm pretty sure I'm covered here. I don't think there's going to be any issues. I'm not taking this return. Absolutely not. I said, that ain't happening. Person doesn't read The compatibility and the fact I don't take international returns, no way. So, before I did any actions, I decided to call concierge just to make sure I had all my ducks in a row, as they say. And I got a very nice guy on the phone. And the funny thing is, the guy actually knew me. He said he had spoken to me in the past before on the phone. So yeah, I explained the situation. He looked at everything. He said, Joe, you are covered. You do not have to accept the return. I said, okay, is there anything this buyer can do? I said, could he neg me, for instance? He said, well, theoretically, yes, he can neg you. Which is something that I quite don't understand, because if I'm covered, he should be blocked from negging me. But the customer representative said that I could get the negative feedback removed if it does come, because the buyer would have violated an eBay policy, such as no returns. I don't know if violating an eBay policy is the correct terminology there, but the buyer would have been out of line, is what I'm meaning to say. So yeah, so we're just going to see how it goes with that particular sale. You know, I will do anything to try and help people when I can, but fair is fair and right is right. And sometimes you have to man up and accept responsibility for your mistakes. Do you know that after I declined the return, within 10 minutes, that customer then contacted me directly through eBay and still said, I need to return these. I bought the wrong size. I said, you're not returning them. It's not happening. I do not accept international returns. I went through a lot of trouble to list the compatibility, and you didn't read that, and you also didn't read, I do not take international returns. I said, and what really made me scratch my head in disbelief, I would think that he would have contacted me through eBay first and said something like, listen, Joe, I bought the wrong size. Is there anything you can do for me? But no, he goes right to that return button. Well, he screwed up, because they're not going to be returned. And as you can see in the tutorial, it clearly says return closed. Now, if I had been in managed payments like Daniel and the others, I think there would have been a problem. I think there would have been a serious problem. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to cover today. I don't like to cover too many topics because it takes away from the topics that I have covered. I only like to cover maybe 2 or 3 main ones per video. So yeah, guys, remember the following things. I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thanks for watching this video. Each week I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you be a successful seller on eBay. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on point and appreciated. If you don't think I'm doing a good job, let me know in the comments section, and I'll be more than happy to cover your topic next week. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems. I'm still making money online. I've never worn a mask and I never will. And some say I could be a CEO or maybe even a CFO, and maybe I already am. So yeah. Now you're probably wondering, when the heck is this guy going to take a drink from the Fox News Cup of Life? Ah, come on. Some of you were wondering about it, weren't you? It's right behind me. Look. See it? It's there. I will now take a drink from the Fox News Cup of Life so all of you guys can rest better. This is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. I'm just going to hold this up for 5 seconds without saying any words. I love this. Oh, God. Guys, as far as sales is concerned, I had a very good sales week, with the exception of, believe it or not, you know when my worst, slowest period was? Cyber Monday. From Sunday at 4 p.m. to Monday at about 6 p.m., I made 0 sales. Nothing. Cyber Monday was a bust for me this year. Normally, I do average or slightly above. Not this time, was well below, but still, sales all in all were good, so I'm not going to complain about that. I hope you guys had good sales too. Go out there, rock on, make a ton of money, and peace! Okay, the time has come. My closing 3 words to you good people. Please, I beg you, I insist, I demand, don't be fitchy!